Hey everyone, Kevin DeWalt here, founder of So Helpful, and today I am joined with Shane Walker, who is in Silicon Valley. His current startup is called Light, and Shane's going to tell us about Light in his career. He lives in Silicon Valley. He does angel investing as an entrepreneur, and spends a lot of time helping and working with early stage entrepreneurs and other investors. And he's going to tell us today about how being helpful is part of his strategy for building his reputation and growing his business. So Shane, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Excited to do it.
So Shane, for the benefit of the folks who may or may not familiar with your background, your products, and your story, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're working on and kind of what brought you to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm 30 years old. I've founded 4 startups, which is either, depending on who you're talking to, a good or a bad thing. But my 10,000 hours, if that is the mark of expertise, has been around growth marketing. Specifically before going viral or growth hacking was in the idioms. I was measuring split tests with the idea that psychology does a good job of spreading your product quicker than any sort of traditional marketing could do. And yeah, each startup has been based around a particular growth tactic, and throughout the years, it's just become a type of industry expertise that has evolved with the industry. But in a very real, practical way, what I do is I try to automate marketing functions of either my own products or companies I invest in. That typically, it's usually a high-level strategic call on what's the best way to create value, and then how to basically go through a relatively limited tool set, but the combinations are much greater. A limited set of options of what I think would work for a particular product. And the idea behind that is narrowing down sort of what's most likely to work, and then just throwing brute force operations, A/B testing, and customer and problem validation behind it. And the idea behind all this is the reason why I'm proud of 4 startups, all well, all successfully exited, is that if you can compress cycle time, meaning like if you can churn through ideas and validations and problems, the faster you can do them, the faster you can find the stuff that works. Because, you know, just like baseball or any other sport in entrepreneurship, it's not the amount of times you're at bat or even necessarily your completion rate. It's the overall score. It's how many wins you can do or get under your belt. So the real trick there is you want to do a lot. You want to have informed good guesses, and most importantly, you want to keep trying. So the number of tries, is necessarily correlated with the number of hits or successes you have. So that's what I'm about, and that's sort of my brief background.
Well, that's great, Shane. So I think what one theme I'm finding in a lot of the interviews, and especially the people on So Helpful, is they often have they're either a lot of them come from sort of lean startup background, so it's very quantitative data, analytical mindset that comes to it, and yet there's this entire other side of them that's around building relationships, helping others, and that human side of things. And so it's for somebody who just heard what you said, it might come as a surprise to them that you make such a huge investment in people and relationships. So can you tell me how, how mentoring, helping, how all the social capital then helps grow your business, your products, and your maybe reputation as an angel investor?
Absolutely. So yeah, quickly, I do invest, I advise, I get pulled in operational roles sometimes, but more importantly, I'm helpful to the ecosystem because I find that growth, or particularly the part of a product that is usually make or break for most entrepreneurs, is where will I get my users? What's my user count? Whatever your core metric is, they care very specifically about that growing to help their business. And what I found in my own experience, and the reason why I decided to be helpful and open to talking to entrepreneurs, is that the thing that I can improve in your endeavor, any endeavor, and really my role in the ecosystem is saving you time, because ultimately you know so much more about your product, and what you're doing is usually fantastic, smart, and creative, and then they get hung up, or projects get hung up on these distribution operations, the idea of where am I going to find my first 1,000 users, how do I run ads, how do I, I have this neat idea on how this might go viral. And the thing is, all that work's been done before. These projects, there's some value behind them that's unique, but the distribution piece, it's very rarely a brand new trick. It's been done before, there's data behind it, And the quicker you can weed out all the things that won't work, the quicker you can get to the stuff that will. And sort of my role and the reason why I invest and I participate with so many other companies, and I love to just talk, is because the good ideas, if you can solve for some of the blocking and tackling of distribution, you can really sort of have all these new ideas sort of bloom much faster, and they become ways for me to sort of spot good deals, good entrepreneurs, because ultimately, you know, growth is a function of the value you're creating, and if I can bring down the learning curve so that we get you to success quicker, not only do I form relationships with people that, you know, bring new angles on life, new solutions to market, but I also solve a key problem for them, which is typically, how do I grow this damn thing? And if I can bring that answer quicker to them, they can go back to, you know, the market with their beautiful solution that grows much faster than they hoped for. So it's a useful relationship. I love hearing about new ideas, and I love trading what I've accumulated over the years, and it really makes both of our endeavors go much faster.
Well, I think so. A lot of people around the world might find it surprising that someone who's had 4 successful exits and is such a great reputation in what you do, that would make this kind of investment in time just to help out other people. So I think the key things that I'm hearing you saying is, if I could just sort of maybe categorize it in, why does Shane spend his time helping other people, is the insights you get and what you learn from helping them solve the problems around distribution growth, sort of hacking marketing, and giving them more times at the plate, gives you more experience, brings you more value, but also kind of builds your reputation as somebody who's extremely good at that, and that gives you opportunities to see maybe deals that you would never otherwise see, maybe get to work, one-on-one with an entrepreneur, with a team, to kind of figure out whether or not you're the right fit to be an advisor or an investor. Did I kind of capture that correctly?
Yeah. So the easiest way I've noticed it's so helpful, solves a key problem for me, is it instantly burnishes my reputation in exactly the thing I want to become the best at. I want to be the top 1% at solving this very small but important problem in startups, and that is helping good products grow as quickly as possible. And the idea behind giving my advice away for free, being helpful in the ecosystem, is that by understanding the endless variety of the different ideas that entrepreneurs come up with, not only can I get better at solving each problem and knowing what templates sort of exist in the world, that variety is ultimately what makes me that 1%. It's because I've seen basically every iteration of every idea up to date, and the possibilities of every idea into the future is countless. So the more I can see and the more I can be helpful, the better and more expert I am at this very particular slice of marketing. And it's, the more that I can give away, the more that they can reinforce that, I'm of value in this ecosystem, so that whenever I do have conversations, I know that I can impart, very practical takeaways that they can implement right off the bat. And then now I also, in exchange, have a new way of looking at a traditionally old problem, and also new data to sort of say, hey, in the future, here's another way of approaching this problem. So it's variety, but ultimately my help is my hope of giving back in a way that burnishes my expertise.
Well, Shane, that's just fantastic stuff there. So an example would be maybe an entrepreneur who is they've got a creative idea, they've got some users, they've got something that's got some level of traction. They've got there's something about that excites them, and now they're just trying to figure out, like, how do I figure out which direction to go from here? Is that a good example?
That's a great example. I have one that I talked to recently off So Helpful. They had built a phenomenal consumer product that I'd never heard of. It's brand new. Basically, it's sprayable caffeine. I thought, this is a phenomenal idea. There's a market for this. I guarantee that.
Wait, sprayable caffeine. Like, hey, I'm going to the beach today, and I not only want to put on sunscreen, but I'm going to spray myself up so I'm all jazzed up. Or
you know what? So the reason why I knew this would have a market is because I saw a startup from a very successful guy. It was a company called Perky Jerky, And learning about his problems, I quickly realized how big of a market energy-induced, snacks and accessories became. And this is a big company. You can get Perky jerky all over Home Depot's, home improvement stores all over the U.S. So it became a big company. And then so I see this. They're Stanford guys. They're really scrappy. They've come up with this topical energy spray, and their problems are unique in the sense that there's not a ton of caffeine accessories necessarily, but I've seen what successful distribution looks like. I've seen how big of a company it can get, and then all I have to do is sort of bring to bear the stuff that I think will work and then discard all the stuff I know for a fact will not work. So that initial 6 months in this critical phase, they're able to identify key pockets of users, like people that have digestive problems with traditional caffeine, people who work a lot. The idea is I've seen ways that e-commerce products have been distributed in various formats, and I know what would likely fit on top of this sort of unique value prop. So that's a unique combination that I would never have dreamt of. But it also has flavors of stuff I've looked at in the past, and also has very practical tactics that I've seen work successfully for other e-commerce products. So new combination of tactics plus strategy plus ultimate value prop. Everybody left that meeting feeling pumped about all sides. I was like, I think I kind of want to buy this for myself, if not invest. So yeah, I have it on my desk. It's phenomenal. It works, and it's brand new, and they're growing. So.
Right. So if you can't handle a cup of coffee, just spray the thing on your on your hamburger, whatever.
On your neck, yeah, just right on the neck. You get 4 sprays to the neck, and it's like a cup of coffee.
Oh man, I can see why this is going to be a hit already.
It's great.
All right, you have to let me know when they're raising.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, hey Shane, this is fantastic. So I think so he's maybe just sort of wrap things up here. Maybe I'm going to wrap things up with 2 questions. So, a lot of entrepreneurs watching this, especially while they live in Asia, there's a lot of people are very intimidated by hearing like someone like you wants to offer help, and they may not want to actually get on the phone with you because you've been successful and you know this domain so well. And a lot of entrepreneurs are probably thinking, I'm not gonna ask Shane for help until I absolutely need it and I'm ready to go big and I need somebody who's got as much background as his. What kind of people do you want to help out? Like, what kind of entrepreneurs do you want to help out, just to maybe put some of their fears at rest?
Yeah, so my best advice is one that I've seen repeatedly, which is you want data ASAP, and that is data is feedback. And this could be VCs. There's this idea of make or break that is false. There's this idea that you need to slap down some deck or some one-sheeter, and then all of a sudden an investor will be in love with you because of some development, which is actually untrue. The idea behind any sort of working relationship is that the sooner I can know what you're about and what you're doing, the sooner I can give feedback, and the less waste sort of is in your work. Because if your goal is to build something that grows, you should probably be talking to me as early as possible so that I tell you what not to work on. That's the majority of the work on my side, is telling you what is not going to work, so you don't spend cycles on that. And then we can focus on the stuff that's likely to work. So I would recommend anybody that's thinking about scheduling, just go ahead and do it. The 30 minutes, the intent of there is to put you in the right direction, and then we can have a follow-up and then check back on the hypotheses that we come out with. So it's the exact opposite of what you're feeling. If you feel like you need to do something before you talk to me, it's in actuality you need to talk to me before you do something, because then we can go through all the different options that you probably don't want to go down, and you can focus on the ones that are likely to work. And I'd say that's the same on investment side too. There's no magical development where your company all of a sudden goes from a real pie in the sky idea to something I'm really interested in. The more I know about you and the more I know about how it's developed, the more likely I am to work with you on a financial basis as well. So take that for what it's worth. Go ahead and schedule a hangout. I'm more than happy to talk to you at any phase of your startup.
Hey Shane, thanks a lot. This has been really inspiring. I know you've given me great advice in the past, and I'm going to continue to seek your counsel because you are so good at what you do. Thanks a lot, Shane. So for people who want advice from you, so what's the best way they should get into contact with you?
Easy. SoHelpful.me/Shane. Book anytime you want. Otherwise, you can find me on every social network. I don't hide. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter.
Yes, I would have to say that you're one of the. If someone can't find you, they're not looking, because you're all over the social networks.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. Hey, Shane, thanks a lot. I know that I got a lot out of this, and I'm sure other people do. Really appreciate everything you're doing, and it's thanks again for just being so generous with your advice and your time. Thanks a lot, Shane.
No problem. Look forward to talking to all of you guys. Thanks.